All right, everybody. February 26th, 2018. That show I was going to do on goats. So I do a little short live video to show up first, to give you all a visual of what I'm going to be talking about. We're here in the goat barn. One thing I do in the wintertime, well, if we start having babies in the wintertime, is I take these poly barrels. This is just, I believe this is like a 30-gallon. We also use the 55-gallon. I make these small little heat huts out of these things. You'll see a light that's a heat lamp in the top of it. We set this up. I do go ahead and screw them off to the wall. And these are for the baby goats when they're born in the wintertime. It keeps them all nice and toasty. It's amazing how many of them little baby goats will cram into them things. There'll be 4 or 5 of them all snuggled up in there. And they seem to do very, very well. We haven't had any losses due to the cold weather. I do take the precaution to stick a chain on them, screw that off to the wall, so the heat lamp, we don't have an issue with it wanting to fall or fire hazard or what have you. We use just, I believe it's a 150 watt heat lamp type light bulb inside of it. It's just one of them. This light fixture is just one of the brooder style like they sell for the baby chicks. Not anything special. Next thing that we make around here are these little hay racks. If you can kind of see this, it is just a 2x12 that I cut from a point down to nothing, and I cut up a hog panel, and then we stuff them with hay. Here's an empty one that I show. I have found that making these about 30 inches wide on the inside seems to fit real well for 2 flakes of hay to stuff in here. This rack here will hold just almost a half a bale, half of a square bale of hay. Walking over here, climb through. See some of the these goats here are the Nigerian dwarfs. They are dairy goat. Here is another hay rack that I made. This one's a little bit narrower. I should have made it a little bit wider. This one, it fits 1 flake. You don't get 2 flakes to fit side by side on a small one like that. And then we use these small little hook over hay troughs, or I'm sorry, feed troughs that we use on here, and for just doing their grain. And there's 3 or 4 of them in here. I just threw this square bale in here because I'm getting ready to stuff it, stuff their hay racks. We also have another hay rack that we use out here. I feed a mix of round bales and square bales. And this rack out here that we use a lot of times, this is what I will use when I use round bales. Let me get out of the sun. It's just a little hay crib right here. I will take a round bale, cut all the strings off of it, and just start to peel it apart. And then I'll one round bale will last me 2 to 3 weeks almost by taking it and peeling it apart and just stuffing the hay in here. This also, square bales work fine as for this as well. It'll hold about 2 square bales in that. It's good to get lots of things for these goats to climb on. Probably the best thing you could ever do for a goat is to put a pile of firewood inside their area. They will climb all over it, chew the bark off of it, and it makes for happy goats. I get these wire spools from my work, and they seem to do real well too. They just play King of the Mountain on them all day long. And there's Roscoe. He is our resident Billy. Another thing we'll talk about, at least with the Nigerians, I don't know if you guys can see this, eye color. His eyes are blue. A lot of our other females have the brown eyes. We started trying to breed for the blue eyes. It's just kind of something that we kind of went for. I have found out, I'm not going to get into all the DNA and genetics and all of that stuff, but I have found out that from the female, a female with blue eyes typically will not give blue-eyed babies. If you have a buck with the blue eyes, then for whatever reason you will start to get the blue-eyed babies. One of my first goats was a blue-eyed doe, and we had a brown-eyed buck, and we never got any blue-eyed babies out of her until we brought in a blue-eyed buck. So just kind of you start talking about the XY and the XX chromosomes and all that, and that's over my head. So, but it's just something to kind of think about. So sometimes we do allow our pigs to come in here, and they kind of balance each other out. The pigs will go through and dig around and clean out everything that the goats have missed, and we don't seem to have any issues. They seem to play pretty well with each other. So I will see you all Monday night, 8 o'clock, and we'll get into this goat thing. Have a good day, everybody.